Hey folks, welcome to Scrub Corner Gaming, and this is going to be our first episode of content I like to call Can You Build It? Or How Easy Is It to Build? I think Can You Build It has a bit of a better ring, so we'll see going forward which one sticks, huh? So, this is going to be a Warhammer focus series looking at various models and start collecting boxes to see how easy is it to build. I myself am not a very ingenuitive person and get frustrated quite a bit with certain models, one of which will appear in a later video, I can guarantee it, and might be the next one. But I just wanted to go off of something I've been working on recently that I think is a very good starting point for getting into Age of Sigmar as a hobby in particular. And that is going to be the Seraphon. Now, the Seraphon are your bestial lizard type people. Without getting too deep into their specific lore, you have two ways you can really run the army, which is the aforementioned tribal lizard men, or there is also the option to run them as a heightened race of starborn, higher thinking beings. They can teleport, they can summon, it's pretty cool. I myself prefer the kind of ground and pound savage version, but I also it's a personal preference. But yeah, between the coalesced and the starborn are still pretty cool. Starborn see a lot of work, do a lot of work, but both options are valid. So it's a very strong army to go with, where you have two allegiances you can look at that are super strong, and you don't really lose out of choosing one or the other if either, depending on which one fits your playstyle. So part I want to do with this is after we do how easy is it to build, we'll talk about how expensive is it to build a half decent army. So we got our battle tome here. I have the War Scroll cards, don't have them with me, but we'll set this off to the side here. Over here? Over there. So, first things first, what's nice about the Seraphon is they currently have two start collecting boxes, which are these big army boxes that'll get you anywhere from 9 to 21 to 30 miniatures, I believe, at the high end. The original Seraphon box, which is still available, is 21. And what that gets you is it gets you 12 Source Warriors, which are going to be the bulk of your army. More or less, they're your foot soldiers. They're who you're going to get forward into battle to kind of tie your opponent up and screen out across the board. You know, your front line. They are your lizard phalanx, more or less. Especially if you're going to be doing what I suggest towards the end of this video. And then following that, you have Saurus Knights, which are your cavalry, which are pretty strong if you build them with lances and manage to get the charge on your opponent. And then lastly, you can build a Carnosaur, which is your hero in the box. It's who you will lead your little 21 mini army here. And is a very competitive melee enemy for your opponents. Now, as far as building it goes, there are some options in this box, and I'm sad that I don't have the instructions for it with me, but you have three ways you can build your Carnosaur, and we're going to talk about him first, just because it's very important, and I want to get the big dino in the room out of the way. So your Carnosaur can be built as you have it here, obviously unpainted but primed. You can build your Carnosaur with a Scar Veteran. I actually believe this is the Old Blood, but I like the shieldless model cooler. So, and what that gets you is a very, very competent melee hero on a very angry dinosaur. As far as building the Carnosaur, we will touch on that after we talk about the second option you can build. I get that out of the way from my box. Which is a Skink Oracle on Troglodyte, which I have started to paint, and I don't want to hear any critiques about because it's still we're still working on it, guys. But But, I'm working. We're trying. Dinosaurs are new to me. Which is built off of the same kit. Now, in addition to that, you can build a Carnosaur with Old Blood, who is not as good a fighter as the Scar Veteran, but still a competent enough hero that I could see excuses to bring him. His command ability is very good, which, again, not going to bog you guys down with a lot of systems jargon and lingo right now. We're talking about how quick and easy are these to build. The Troglodon and the Carnosaur are actually very straightforward, very quick to build. You have to kind of watch the parts a little bit, and I wholly recommend dry fitting before you glue to the extreme, as cleaning out some of the flush and some flash is definitely required to get a good solid fit to make the models look clean. And you will definitely appreciate a little work with a hobby knife, just cleaning off a little bit of the excess from when you snip them out of the sprues. So, that's a thing you can do. Next, we have my unfinished but primed Saurus Knights. Super easy to do. They are a grand total of 4 parts. Yeah, they're 4 parts in total. So you have left torso, left body, right body, head, tail. Just snip, clean, glue, done. Very quick, very simple. And then lastly, we have the Saurus Warriors, which you have a Saurus Alpha. You have your standard Standard Bearer. You have your standard musician. And then you will have any number of little dudes with shields and clubs who I have not glued the arms onto yet because I want to paint the bodies first on them. Hindsight being 2020, I should have done that with the rest of the guys, who we're just going to stick up on the old battle tome here and bring them up. So, just for the point of focus there, you got your Standard Bearer, who is by far, in my opinion, probably the hardest thing in this kit to build. Just because the Standard has a weird connection point, and it would probably not have been quite so bad if it was all one piece, which it unfortunately wasn't. But, regardless, it is what it is. Let's get you an armless little Saurus Warrior up here, if I can keep it in frame from being upside down. Now, the Seraphon models aren't, most of them aren't as detailed as some of the models you'll see later on in the series, just in general. But by comparison, like if you look at the Carnosaur and even his rider, these things have incredibly good detail. So the range is definitely getting up there as it goes, but don't be intimidated trying to paint that, because you'll get some techniques the longer you go that'll help you get around it, and it's fine. But looking at the core of your army in this box, which is your Saurus Warriors, as far as how easy they are to build, looking at the instructions here, they're very easy to build. Like I said, the connection point for your standard is a bit of an oddball one because it's very hard to get glue on there and also hold it in place without gluing your fingers to the model. But outside of that, the most labor-intensive thing in this kit is the Alpha, who has shield, arm, head, body, right leg, weapon, armor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 pieces. He's 8 pieces you have to glue together, which is the most complex non-Carnosaur/Troglodon in this kit. So very unintimidating thing to start kit to start with, for sure. You can basically clip out all the bodies in one go, glue them to their bases, let them settle overnight, and then worry about handling all your arms and your loadout, whether you actually want to build musicians and standard bearers. I see no reason why you wouldn't. But if you're just going to build them as a giant blob, you don't really need it if you're going to do more than the standard number. Like even so, the little guys, you have the option of building them with spears or clubs. So in total, with torso, right leg, head, left arm, shield, spear, club, there's 7 bits total in options, but it's only 6 bits you're going to have to glue together. So it's a very straightforward little guy to just pop together and be done. So that's the box. Your other option box is Skinks, which comes with Skinks, big laser turtle, and some pterodactyls for all the fun that screaming pterodactyls with tiny lizards on them can be. That box I don't have. I'm going to get one, specifically so we can talk about how easy is it to build. I believe the Skinks are going to be super easy to build, but as we're getting to the end of how easy is it to build, I've already said it's pretty straightforward. If you're just looking to get a quick, big, easy dinosaur, Carnosaurs are the easier of the two between the Carnosaur and the Troglodon. The facial whiskers and feelers on this big, gross, blind, spitty lizard are a bit of a pain, and they're really hard to clean a lot of the excess when you clip them out. And the rider does not want to settle in easily on that back. Whereas opposed to your Old Blood or your Scar Veteran, he's on a throne, you just drop him and he goes. It's intuitive. You can almost put him on, like, just about anywhere on the back near where I have him. Come on, get in there. And he just goes into place. So, yeah. There we go. Build-wise, or price-wise, you want to start a Seraphon army? Seraphon are a really good one for what I call the 3-box tech. So 3 of these start collecting boxes gets you 36 Saurus Warriors. It gets you 8, 16, 20, 24 Saurus Knights, and it'll get you 3 big monsters. Now, it can also get you a little bit more. And I should have talked about this beforehand, but if you build your Old Blood or Scar Veteran, we're going to start with the Troglodon, because the Troglodon's the one where the instructions, which I left at another location with another start collecting box, gives you the option where it comes with, in addition to its big base, an extra 32 mil base. So you can build a Scar Veteran on foot. Ain't that cute? Look at that. This guy is also really easy to build. Still less than 10 bits, if I remember correctly, because he's just a dude. He's 2 legs, the legs, the torso, head, headdress, left arm, right arm, shield. He's 8 bits. Still less than 10. Way easier than some things I'll talk about later. Not as simple as just warriors. But gives you an option to build him, which you could run as a Sunblood, which I'm going to. And then if you build a Carnosaur, you have the option of taking your little skink there. And if you build the version I did without the shield, you can make a little foot skink wizard, which I kit bashed really badly. But you know what? It's okay. He's just going to be a little lizard who's probably going to die really quick. Not that he's going to be in the front lines, but he's probably just going to die really quick. Whether to my own tomfoolery or my opponent's, we will see. But yeah, you can actually get the option. You can get quite a few heroes out of one of those kits, which gets you a pretty nice spread of stuff. Price-wise, if you do the 3 start collecting boxes, like I will once I acquire a 3rd one. My LGS only had 2, so 2 is what I bought. So on Amazon, they're on average around $76.50 a piece. So 3 boxes runs you $229.50 before taxes. Assuming Prime, that's 2 days shipping. Now, at most game stores I've encountered, you will find these around $79.99, which three of will get you to $39.97. So ultimately, you're looking at like a $13 difference, $15 difference, give or take. You got to ask yourself, is $15 worth 2 days? For supporting a hobby, I think the $15 is much more worthwhile going to my game store. But if you don't have a game store you go to, or the local game store close to you is an hour away, and you don't want to waste time going there to buy stuff to leave, which is understandable, totally understandable, I would say the Amazon route is your key. For $229, is this a fun army? I haven't played it yet. As we are in quarantine, this is a secret side project I'm doing to surprise one of the guys I usually game with. But I will see. They have a lot of ways to make them very cheaty and very hard hitting. The Carnosaurs, for the points value they cost, definitely punch up really strongly. That being said, I hope they're fun, but for just an army to get points into and play, super cheap. Even if I don't get the third box, I'm already at I think I'm at 1490 points if I buy a command point. So if you want to play smaller, like 1,000-point, 1,500-point games, it gives you a lot of versatility. You can run 2 units of knights. You can run 3 units of knights. You could run all knights. You could run 2 little blobs of Saurus warriors with a big blob of knights in the middle as a spear. You got options. You got a couple different ways you could play this. From that point, even with just 2 boxes, to get this to a full 2,000-point list, whether you want to take that to tournaments is another story, but to get it to 2,000 points is maybe another 100, 150. Really, really quick to do. It's less than $400 for a full 2,000-point army is super cheap. And my strong recommendation that if you're going to do this, do it just because it's at minimum a fun project to have. And lizards are cool. Who doesn't like dinosaurs? Man, I'm running out of shit to say. Yes, talking about looking at this with the Battle Tome and the Start Collecting cards, that's important. The cards in the Tome were both $34 at my FLGS. So, we already established I spent $239 on... well, no, I only bought 2 boxes, so... Get over here. So I spent $159 on 2 boxes. So in total, I'm in $223. I am almost at a full army for $223. That's insane. This is one of your better options to just get in and get some games, to get, at minimum, repetition in the system, and learning your army comes with that. Excuse me. Seraphon are very good for a beginning player, in my opinion. Even with their 2 sub-allegiances and the 2 sub-allegiances within those sub-allegiances, which sounds more difficult than it is because it is very simple, you get a very straightforward, very simple and easy to learn army that you can just put on the table and start experimenting with. Now, I'm going to say, just to tease, because it's another army I'm working on, and I'm going to give a bit of a spoiler. Sometimes shit just gets expensive.